I love that.
You gotta love those first take throws.
Gotta
love it.
The fact that we did that during the height of Corona and you guys threw a fucking Corona can is still one of my favorites.
That was funny, man. I miss the early days of Corona. That was fun back then.
Back when the world was ending and everyone was trapped in their
before
house.
The dark days. Yeah, the world was ending. I was like, all right, here we go. This is it. It's gonna happen finally.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just kind of got set. Like season 1 of the coronavirus, a blast. Tiger King, all that stuff. Season 2 and 3 was just a fucking downer.
Season 2 is bullshit. Season 2 is
Season 2 is
it was just fucking like I got sober during season 2 and it still hasn't ended. So like, what the fuck is this extension? Oh my god! But welcome back. It's good to see you. Corey should maybe be joining us at some point. I messaged him something very disgusting over Signal a little while ago.
Is Signal the only app like he hasn't been banned from yet?
It's very possible. No, I think we get him occasionally to do shit on WhatsApp, but he's like, I guess what was the whole thing with WhatsApp? Facebook owns it now or some shit, and so
yes,
all the boomers are like, Meh! Corey being included.
Signal is fun. However, I don't know if it's the honey trap. That last year the FBI said that there's like one supposedly encrypted talking app that like they created and put out that advertises as encrypted, and it's not, and they're using it as just a honey trap to catch people. Well, but they haven't announced which one it is.
If I haven't been pinged yet, I'm not going to. Yeah. I think it's safe to say. Honestly, it's probably Discord, even though Discord doesn't advertise being
oh yeah, Discord encrypted. Absolutely.
Like Discord's absolutely getting fucking monitored. All this shit, because every time I see a news story, it's like, yeah, and then all this heinous shit was said in the Discord app. It came to light later on. Turns out he hates black people and kicks puppies. Who would have guessed? Like, oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of internet personalities getting canceled. Comes out, oh, the Discord leaks. Like, oh,
the Discord servers. Yeah. Anytime I see it's leaked, it's like, oh, their whatever leaked. Their emails got leaked. It's like, cool, people are jerking off to them. Their Discord got leaked. Ooh, they did some heinous shit. Like, what the fuck are we gonna read about?
I know, and like our Discord, me and that you guys are in and pop in occasionally. It's like mutually assured destruction. There's stuff in there to destroy everyone. So if one of us goes down, we all do.
Yeah, anytime I see like 15 of y'all in the chat, I pop in just to listen, just like, okay, I'm missing something. The council has been summoned. Oh,
the memes in there too. Oh man,
yeah,
gold.
And that's basically what going to an event with us is like, though.
Yes.
Which, speaking of, Corey and I went to Copperhead. You did the MSW Patrol challenge.
I did something a little different. The Patrol challenge
as OPFOR, right? Like you didn't actually compete. You were
we were OPFOR. So Josh comped our tickets and all that stuff, and we were basically admin throughout the weekend, helping them and being a learning tool for the actual patrols.
So. Yeah, Josh does a great. I love his business design of paying your cadre and paying your command staff so that they are invested in the game as a whole versus their team. It makes way more sense because then you like send a message like, "Hey, my guys are bored. Will you fucking come ambush us real quick?"
It's almost like paying incentivizes people.
Money. So just from what, because I was reading through the Patrol challenge stuff because I really want to do it next year. I kind of want to like compete, but honestly OPFOR sounds like a lot of fucking fun.
It's very different. Eventually I want to also compete in it because it's like just like being a volunteer staff for like an obstacle course, and like that's fun itself, but you also want to be able to actually go run it.
Let's go through what the OPFOR side of things look like.
Well, I'll explain like what the whole event is because it's very different from just a normal BB game. So
this is different from normal Milsim West too, right?
Yeah. Josh did it because he wanted something to elevate the base experience for his entire customer base. So as he found out with the cadre system and all that stuff, that if you have when you have good cadre in your group and good squad leaders and people that know what's happening, you generally have a much better event as a whole versus someone that has no idea what's going on, gets you lost in the woods for a few hours, which that can be fun, but not usually what you're signed up for. And so he created the patrol challenge to both be a competitive aspect in that it is a graded scored event, and you can take this BB LARPing and apply it to a competitive nature and be named the patrol of the year until the next one, as well as along the way actually like training and teaching everyone involved how to play our BB LARP as best as possible and to just improve the quality of players at future events and the experience for everyone. So instead of companies and platoons and squads and all that stuff, there's just patrols. So for this one, it was the very first one. There wasn't a lot of people that signed up for it because airsofters are scared of not being the main character. So there's only one NATO patrol and one RUS-4 patrol. And they started at different areas of the field in Centerville, Washington. And throughout the weekend, they had various lanes or graded events that they would be graded on by the cadre. That each event was a maximum of 5 points, a total of 30 points throughout the whole weekend.
So were the events scheduled, or was this like a linear, like
everything was
video
scheduled?
Game,
everything was scheduled way out. Max,
so like
who put the whole op board together, put a lot of time into all the events and how everything was happening. If NATO was doing one thing, like one graded event on one corner of the field, RUS-4 would be doing the same event on the opposite side of the field. And
so what were some of those examples? Like what was one of the
So all of the events were meant to like somewhat mirror real life events that would be in some kind of selection, Ranger, SF, and most all of the cadre were either one of those two things. So the very first event, Saturday night, they had their briefing, rucked up, and they had a timed 3 mile. They had, I want to say, 40 minutes for 3 miles with ruck, carrying water and Skedco.
So it starts from the get. Like from the get, it's like, okay, here's our whatever briefing. Get to marching. By the way, that's graded too. Fuck nugget. Let's go.
Everything is graded.
Okay.
Wow.
And so
that's crazy.
The NATO patrol, they had some issues on the very first event. They got about a mile in and they realized they forgot their water and their Skedcos, which they then had to go back and get and come back. So
whose fault is that? Like, as far as like I get,
I don't know. We weren't there. I was
because I know.
So both.
I know as a whole, the patrol gets punished, right? Like it's a graded
because everyone has
so
to go and do it. Yeah. So I don't know if that was the patrol lead, and the patrol lead changed throughout the event. Just like in real selections that they'd pick, like, oh, you suck, you're a casualty, get on the.
Oh, there it goes.
That was weird.
Did I die?
Yeah, that was something.
That was on
goofy, I think.
Yeah, that was on StreamYard side.
So you suck. You died.
You're the patrol lead now. So I don't know whose fault it was as OPFOR. Both patrols at the last stretch of their timed ruck, they were going to get ambushed by us. They'd have to fight through the ambush and then get to where they're going to set up their first PB. So we were just sitting in the ambush site, waiting, like looking at our clocks, like they're supposed to be here 40 minutes ago. And then they finally showed up, and we jumped up and we ambushed them. We had mostly blank fire with a few BB guns, made a lot of noise. We died, but not before. There's a lot of confusion on their part because they were already smoked at this point, and they had several drops just on the very first event. Either there's a couple of injuries, like a rolled ankle, and then several people that just 30 minutes in said this isn't for me.
And this is like, so they did the 3 mile ruck, and then immediately it was like, surprise fuckers.
Yep. They had us ambush them at the end of the ruck.
Gotcha.
Then they died, went out.
So there's the kid in the chat saying there's a lot of heat cats. How the fuck do you heat cast in Wisconsin?
It was Washington.
Washington.
Sorry, not Wisconsin, Washington. Yeah, like how the fuck?
Gear. We saw. I helped run NATO check-in, and we saw dudes with plate carriers and helmets on, just standing around 5 hours
Nice.
before the game started in a
Mm.
field event. We're like,
Yikes.
you should probably take that off.
Okay, no, that makes sense. It always blows my mind, like being from Texas, when people are like, "Oh, we had a heat casualty," and
it was
fucking
hot
Canada today.
Friday it was hot in the sun. It was dry, but it was hot. There's smoke, there's wildfires in the area.
Like high 90s hot, or like
yeah, 90s.
okay,
Definitely.
that's acceptable. Anytime I hear
it was beautiful
101
weather.
that day,
It was
okay.
90s in the day and like 50s at night. It was great.
Anytime I hear
definitely-
somebody be like, "It was hot," and it was like 88 degrees, I'm like, "The fuck."
So that was their first event, and that was their first introduction to it. They didn't know the other events coming up and that
what
they'd
order
get
they'd be in?
progressively harder, some of them. So they set up their first PB for the night. They were graded. They had an AR with whoever was grading them for that event, which a lot of that stuff we didn't really see because, like, for the ambush, we ambushed them, we died, and then we talked to Max, who was with them, who was grading NATO at that time, and we told them what we saw they did right, what they saw they did wrong, like freaking out and shooting friendlies in the back with their ruck packs on, and just stuff like that. And then we left.
Do the NATO guys, are they primarily using blank fire as well, or are they using BB
NATO
Gats?
only had like 2 blank fire. The rest
Okay,
was,
so they're for the
rest
most
was
part
BB
BB
Gats.
Gats. Yeah, because that makes more sense, especially if they have to actually like make contact with y'all, and you guys have to know that you got hit. Okay.
Yeah, and eliminate targets.
Yeah, we were like 50-50 airsoft to blank fire because
how big was your guys' group?
Adds to the immersion. We had like 12 OPFOR total, so we usually split into 2 fire teams for each patrol to go harass them.
That makes sense. So that's a good size element for harassing a larger force, but having superior.
Yeah, because usually on Saturday we actually like when did some stomping, but for the most part, our job was to just harass them and like invoke a reaction, and they would then be graded on that reaction.
You guys are there as a tool for training and for grading. You're not there to just dick kick them and wipe them.
No, we're not there to
That's
play
not
airsoft and win the BB game.
Yeah,
how big was the overall event? Like, how many people on each force?
I want to say there was 35 something on NATO, maybe 40, and 25-ish on Rus 4.
Really? More? I wouldn't have guessed that there would be more NATO than Rus 4.
So there's probably close to 100 people total then.
There was. However, Rus 4 were all, or I don't know if all, but mostly all are our guys that knew each other and had been training with each other and had been training with Jim Hansen for weeks.
I would say I've seen Jim's stories, man. That motherfucker was taking that real serious.
Yeah. So
like he was,
so they had their shit much more to get. Whereas NATO, it was almost entirely groups of 2 to 3 people that knew each other and then didn't know anyone else.
That's rough. You can't do that.
So they didn't have that same cohesion of a group that has known each other for a long time.
And it makes sense that this kind of deal is not made for like mommy, daddy, fucking little kid airsofter to come in and join up with a group of people they don't know. No. This is meant for like a group of like 25 dudes that have coordinated the whole year and gotten set up and met at other events.
And that's why I'm hoping next year will be that this one happened. The word's getting out like, yo, this is like the event if you want to get your balls smoked.
I want to do it for sure. Whether I'm OPFOR next year or involved, like whether I can roll in with a group next year, like I'm absolutely doing this shit. Especially if it's a Battle Creek, because Battle Creek's going to be a fucking dick kicker.
That one will be rough. if I hope they do it there. I would love for there to be 2 patrol challenges a year, and one of them's there.
That'd be cool.
Because it's fantastic, and this one would be perfect to actually use the whole AO because it's like 6,000 acres, and you can have a 5-mile ruck without having to double back on yourself.
Yeah,
damn.
When they've got the way that it would be laid out, the way that it seems like this is laid out too, makes a lot of sense. What, as far as like the AR goes, right? Are they singling out specific people, or are they holding like? Because obviously, if you're the PL, if you're the platoon sergeant, if you're whatever your position is during that evolution, you should be taking the brunt of this bullshit and understanding that like you need to learn and do it correctly the next time. But how much opportunity is there during the event to like correct your course and do it right the next time? Or is it like you did it once, you fucked up, now you're at the bottom of the totem pole?
I think there's lots. There's lots of opportunities to correct from what I saw. I was only around for a few of their AARs.
Yeah.
It was very straightforward and simple. And a lot of the events, you would have another chance to do something similar later on, like ambush or defend and stuff like that. They're doing it multiple times so that they can correct. And the cadre and the grader said they did see an improvement from Friday night when they first started to Sunday. With how they worked as a team and coordinated and all that stuff.
What would you say was the biggest determining factor as far as success went, as between like physical fitness, understanding the concepts like basic infantry concepts, or to like packing and shit like that? Like,
it all seems important because something like this ties it all in. Physical fitness is a big one. Obviously, the hardest event was Saturday. I can't remember who had it latest. I think it was Russ 4. They had to put their rucks on and then push a dead car, mostly uphill for a mile in neutral. Okay. And then after that, then move to their PB, and then we ambush them in their PB, and then we harass them some more later.
Well, I mean, you said there's like 20 something of them. So
yeah.
So now here's my curiosity with this, because I know like the guys that I know that have been through special warfare programs and the dudes that I was in, these programs are very much designed for you to cheat and to find ways to cheat without getting fucking caught. Like nobody's supposed to actually be able to make it through a lot of this physical shit. They're expecting, like they want you guys to get smart enough to create like systems. So like when the fucking dude who's smoking you turns around and isn't looking, you stop doing push-ups, and like everybody kind of eyes on him. He turns around, you get going again. Were they able to, like, if they brought rope, could they make fucking tow ropes and pull the car that way, which is a shitload easier than just pushing it?
I don't know. We weren't there. Again, we were set up to ambush them after the car push when they were smoked. Otter, who's in here, might be able to answer.
Yeah, because I'm really curious.
I don't believe so.
If you were able to get creative with how and the way that it works, like obviously you're pushing a car uphill. There's 20 of y'all. Do you do it in shifts? Does everybody push it once, or do you guys try to get creative, like tying ropes off to it and dragging it instead of pushing it, which is probably the preferred way to do it because you're distributing.
You're using your body weight as leverage. Yeah.
A bunch of dudes just pushing. Okay. Now, is that what they did, or did anybody mention if that was allowed or not? This may be a question that we need to get Warren on for at some point.
Yeah.
Because that's something that in my mind would be extremely beneficial, is like coming at these challenges with there's no way there would. If you've got time for 20 dudes to gaggle fucking push a car, you've got time to throw a fucking rope underneath the front tow hitch, or not the front tow hitch, but the front frame.
I would love for there to be something at a future event that I've seen at selections where they have to build an apparatus of some kind. Yeah. Here's a 50-gallon or 55-gallon barrel moving from point A to point B. Here's some pipes, rope, and tires.
You can't let it touch the ground.
Because because coming up with different ideas to effectively fix the problem. Because like even if you're on a time, even if this is something like you got to fucking do like super fast, like get it started with people pushing it, and then like have the guys who aren't pushing it, like have a dude sit on the hood and tie that motherfucker off.
See, it sounds like you should be a patrol lead at one of these events.
Yeah, well, I think we'll see what the plan is for the first one.
But I would say, going back to what made success, physical fitness and just knowing the other people, like the RR guys already had a baseline for some basic airsoft SOPs. You know how to generally work a radio. Yeah. You know how the squad structure works, just simple stuff. Whereas I saw a lot of almost half of NATO was their first MSW ever.
Wow.
I saw them at the check-in when Josh asked them to raise their hands, like, oh, jump it into the deep end.
That's
good for you.
Damn.
That's a terrible fucking idea.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like,
and I heard someone left in the parking lot. Like they showed up, was talking to someone else, did like asking questions that made it clear that they didn't know what this event was. And a buddy said, "Dog, you need to leave."
Somebody scared that man. He said, I gotta go.
That makes sense though, because like I know the next regular milsim West I'll do, because I'll probably be a platoon sergeant again under Corey or PL or whatever. I'm gonna be such a fucking asshole during check-in, because we had so many kids fall out over like dumb little shit. Like, because I was talking about like cold weather gear, and they're like, oh well, it's fucking 85 degrees out right now. I'm like, yeah, well, it's gonna be in the teens tonight. So
well, and check-in is almost like the first graded event, because God, there are some people. There's one or two poor kids that were like about to have a breakdown, just trying to figure out what do you mean I need to have a medical card? Like, just write your name on a piece of paper. It's like I don't have that. Where do I get that? Like, dog, I can't help you.
Oh, look, Ian's in there. Was Ian part of the patrol challenge?
No, go ahead and just ban him real quick.
Did he big puss boy out? Coming in here, talking that good shit.
Shadow ban.
But that's really cool. Like I said, I love the concept.
It was super cool. They did like on Saturday they were graded graded on scouting. So we went and played NPC in this one little PB and just walked in circles while they came and they scouted us and figured out our rotations and shit, and then went back and built a sand table, planned a raid, and then got to execute the raid. All the while with one of the cadre there, just with the notebook writing everything down.
That's pretty legit, honestly.
Now,
that's
as far as grading, planning a raid, right? Like, what were they looking for in criteria? Because in my mind, it's like, are they looking for a good distraction, a good envelopment? Are they looking for you to draw them out, or was it just kind of like dealer's choice? Like, if the guys
I don't really know
something really creative,
because I know that's what they did, but we were just playing NPC guards.
Because I'm curious if they're looking more for like
AI.
Something that's like straight out of the Ranger handbook, or if they want shit that's like a little more creative that works, and they're like, oh fuck, okay, there we go.
I don't know. I know Jim was coaching all the RR guys just straight from like some old school 1970s Ranger handbooks.
Yeah, I saw that. Dude, his stories, it was like whiteboard and like all this goofy hieroglyphics and shit. And he's like, I could just see him in the background, like cracked out of his mind, holding a cigarette. Like,
and when we would get raided by Rust 4, I could tell that their communication was way more like they were talking way more, and they had different roles, and they like knew who was supposed to do what. Whereas NATO, because they didn't know each other, it seemed like just a lot more confusion. They're just running around shooting each other, shooting at us.
Just communication's key. I mean, everybody knows that, but like,
Otto says they're
even in
taught off the Ranger
team.
handbook. Cool.
Ranger handbook makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean that's smart, and that's the thing. Is like, and the other benefit of like, there's more to it to being like, this is usable, workable, viable tactics, but it's also everyone has a fucking handbook. Everyone knows if you just read the fucking thing, here's what you're supposed to do in this situation. There's no like miscommunication. There's no, what do we do here? Oh, I know what I do here. It's in fucking page whatever the fuck. And it's uniform across your group, which is that's smart. And again,
nothing that they covered or went over was cosmic. It was all very basic stuff, but it was about mastering the basics on a patrol level.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you said there's that many people brand new to an MSW.
I remember
dude.
on Friday night after we ambushed NATO and they set up their patrol, we went back and rested for a minute. We let them rest. We reloaded mags. And then Max is like, okay, they've had about an hour. They're getting sleepy. Come ambush them or come probe their PB. I'm like, sweet. So we load up and we walk up and we have thermals and we see backs facing like away from us in a circle. Like, oh, excellent. So our goal, it was just two of us. Our goal is to see if we can draw them all out and get them to chase us through the woods.
Just make them have
supposed to do. Yeah. And so we did. We get up real close. We initiate fire. We shoot. We run. We shoot. We run. And then at one point we hear, I don't know if it was the patrol leader or someone else in charge, start screaming, LOA, limit of advance, stop chasing them. And I hear someone else in the darkness yell, fuck you. And they kept chasing us. So we were able to string them way out throughout the woods before they finally killed us.
Welcome to
And then Max showed up with his notebooks and was writing things down.
Fuck.
Yeah, no, that's fucking cool though. So obviously nods are probably super important.
Absolutely.
And like a required item at this point. Was that
if you want to be competitive at all, if not, you need nods. You need to have other people with nods. And you can make white light work. You just have to standardize it, basically. If everyone is just blasting the fucking sun, it can work.
Yeah, they've got to understand how the concepts are for that. Yeah, because I'm never not going to rent nods from Milsim West after because my little goofy fucking ass just was like hand holding it. Like I remember we did that first big advance, and I'm just like, because I was scouting, so I'm like in a field by myself, and I'm just watching these guys get fucked up, and I'm like, but I really wish I had a fucking helmet to strap that shit to.
Yeah, handheld is pain.
It was not the greatest.
I wonder how
So
many people this was like their first event ever. Like,
like
there's at least
airsoft
a few. There's at least a few on NATO that it was their first like major
Airsoft
event
event.
ever.
I
That's
feel like
crazy.
that was the first failed test. Like somebody in their chain of command should be like, hold on, what? Sell your ticket to someone else right now, you fucking idiot. What was it? So this goes what, Friday through
Sunday.
Sunday? What time?
Mhm.
What's the time frame? Is it Friday evening through Sunday?
I want to say because check-in takes a while and layout and briefing. They stepped off on their. I want to say they stepped off on their first timed ruck around like 9:30.
Okay.
On Friday, and then it ends around 11, 12
Index around
Sunday.
11 noon. Okay.
Hmm.
So that's makes sense.
Mhm.
Was there any of the challenges that were particularly like you guys had a really good time as OPFOR? Because obviously you're there trying to train people and trying to teach people how to do things.
My favorite was after NATO did their car push uphill. This one area of the field in Washington, there's this barn. That's just this empty old wooden barn there, and their PBU was past it. And they pushed the car up the hill, which they didn't know they were doing that until right before. They're told to ruck up. They're going on a movement, and then we're then told, "Oh, by the way, push this," which I wasn't there for, but I imagine was a good time.
That sounds like a fun one. Was there much medical shit involved? Was there like
was there any
Kazakh
real
or any of
world?
that shit?
Yeah.
Not real.
I just
I'm
heard
talking
of a few
scenario.
heat Kaz and
scenario.
rolled ankles.
No, I'm talking about
on
the
Friday.
scenario
Talking
sense.
scenario, like,
Oh
if
no!
there
like,
was
to
a-
my knowledge, no, there wasn't anything medical.
What were the
involved.
medic rules for like you guys ambush, you take out a couple of them? Are they just done or?
I think they had
brought back
standard
in the
medic
game?
rules for MSW, so they
Okay.
had CLS water, like the stuff
Okay.
that they forgot on Friday that they have to keep with them. And medics as OPFOR, we didn't even mess with tourniquets.
Okay.
We would just play one life and die.
Yeah, I was curious if the NATO, like if that was an attrition rate that was built into it, or if there was something where like you died, okay, you're out for like the next 30 minutes or some shit. Or
No, I think it was just
okay.
CLS,
Just normal,
milsim
drink your water
rules.
and let's fucking rat
But
okay.
my highlight of the weekend as OPFOR was after NATO did their car push, they had to walk through the barn. And we were told we're going to ambush them somewhere between after they end the car push and they get to their patrol base. And we're looking at the barn, and the barn is like the only structure out there, and it's the only shiny object to look at. So like they're gonna be suspicious of the barn when they walk through.
Yeah.
So we set up mostly blank fires on the slight increase behind the barn in the grass. And then to the right of the barn, slightly down a hill, was the rest of us laying down in the grass. So it was just going to be a very basic L shape. And we walked in and we waited till they were close, and then the blank fire up on the hill started, initiated, lots of noise shooting, and we waited probably a good 30, 40, like 60 seconds laying there until like, okay, now we'll get up. So that their attention was fully devoted to the first light, and we just stood up and walked behind them and just and shot them all, and everyone died. That was fun. That was the most fun. And then we were also there for part of their AAR afterwards, where they were in no short terms educated on
y'all got
on how poorly they performed.
Gather round, children.
Which I think I can't remember his last name. Nate was one of the cadre for Otter definitely knows for the NATO patrol, and he was very cool. But yeah, just a classic L shape that works, and unfortunately we wiped them. Some NATO guys, like, you know, if you get assault or ambush, you want to try and push through the ambush as quickly as possible. A lot of guys, especially those without nods, their tendency is like, oh, they're shooting, I'm just going to take a knee right here and hope no one sees me.
Not a good time.
You gotta stick with the group.
You gotta move. You gotta move.
If they're moving, everybody's got to fucking scoot and skedaddle.
Yep. And then later in the night at like kind of like 3-4 a.m., we did the same ambush on Russ 4 at the same location, same L shape. And we got a handful of them, but they weren't as spread out, and I think they communicated better. So they actually killed us. So we got a handful of them, but we didn't just wipe them on the L shape.
Okay. Like that. That's dope. So I know there's bragging rights, obviously. Was there anything else involved with
half price on all events for the next year?
Okay.
What?
Okay.
So there's
That
cash
is
on
an
the table,
offer.
depending on how many
That's-
events you
Wow.
go to. That could be a net positive.
That's a huge net positive. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. He
Especially
was
for
really
games like
promoting a
Guardian
lot
Center
of
and
people to
stuff
get
like
that.
that.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
It's not
cool.
transferable. You can't give it to anyone else. You had to be there.
Yeah, and you get
Yeah,
a
of course.
special patch of some kind, I'm assuming, or something.
And you get the patch that they only hand out at the end if you made it. That was cool. So
Yeah,
Rust 4 won.
obviously.
I don't remember the points. I want to say they got like a D in total points, and or like a D plus.
Oh, so it's hard grading then, because even a group
Mhm.
that coordinated got fucking smoke checked.
Yeah.
I mean, D's get degrees, but
Yeah. I'm hoping that as these continue and more people do it and it builds more hype, that people not only start, competing for winning or good grades. I want someone or a group to say like, no, we're getting 30 out of 30.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to ready or not it where you like A+ or nothing.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like as soon as 2023's is announced, I'm gonna start seeing who the fuck's doing what, because that shit sounds fucking fun.
That is
Really
awesome.
wanna-
It's fun, especially if you can find like a group to fill a whole patrol of people that at least somewhat
That's
have their
the
head in
only
the
way.
right direction.
Yeah, if OPFOR isn't an option, that's the only way that I want to do it. Is if like I can fucking squeeze into a fairly large established crew.
Like
'Cause I
OPFOR
know-
was fun, but it was easy mode. Like we didn't ruck anywhere.
Yeah.
We got driven to places, jumped out, conducted an ambush, got back in the truck, drove back.
Yeah, just being hood rats, doing hood
Yeah.
rat shit. Yeah, you hoodlums. I like it.
Rust 4 22 points, NATO 17 points.
Okay. Out of a total
Out of I want to say a total of 30.
total 30. Okay, so that's Rust 4 did pretty good then.
Yeah.
NATO got north of 50%. So it's better than I would have expected from my experience with NATO.
So let's swap events. Tell me about Copperhead.
Copperhead was
And some of the cool extracurricular shit you guys did.
well, so all the extracurricular shit we did was before Copperhead for the most part.
Mhm.
And, Corey's always rocking and rolling with the movie stuff and shooting shorts and whatnot. So
Which
we
he's dropped a
did-
little bit of teaser of some of that, right?
yeah, I'm a little annoyed. I missed doing that one, the Sicario fucking shit,
Oh,
just
yeah?
because I was like actually in the game being a bush somewhere. But yeah,
Did you guys
we
do
did,
the dam? Or was there a dam?
there was a dam. Apparently, the dam was very cool. I did not do the dam. I've
Good
never
call.
done a dam. It seems it just didn't have a lot of appeal to me. I did see they were doing fragos again, like legit fragos, because on Sunday or Saturday, there were guys like actually like using breaching charges on doors, like in the middle of the game, like off in a section that was out of play. 'Cause
Now,
initially,
was it regular guys getting to do that, or is it
I
just
don't
YouTubers?
I don't know.
Because
I
in
think
the
it was just-
past, I've seen that. I'm like,
I-
wow, that's really cool. Oh, everyone in the stack is a YouTuber.
I think it was just the
Cool.
YouTubers. I haven't looked too much into it, but I just
guess
remember
I'll die.
Called
look at-
out.
we're walking out of our fob, and I look to the right, and there's a huge stack. There's like a stack, just a gaggle fucking green dudes on this house, and I'm like,
That's
do we
weird.
shoot at those idiots? And then I see there's yellow caution tape in between. I was like, oh, okay, they're out of play.
Yeah.
And then
The
then I saw
cool
the guy.
experiences that require hand holding to get through them just seem less cool.
Yeah,
now.
but the thing is it wasn't anyone that I would have recognized, because Jet and Alphonse and they were all with us. So I don't know who was doing it. It was Green Team, and it wasn't Haley, because I saw him. He was also like the few times I saw him, he was just
was
walking
Greg
around
Long
tagging
there?
rounds.
Did you get him to unban you or unblock you yet?
We're not allowed to talk about him. We're moving on.
I made a couple like passes, but he had a very interesting interaction with Cass that was just so fucking good, and I wish it was on camera somewhere.
Most interactions with Cass end in hilarity or violence.
He got deboed. He got fucking deboed essentially. Like he got his Skittles taken. It was fucking hysterical. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, most of your normal crew is there. We've got this kind of group that we put together at this point. The Vans. It's just people who wear the Vans, the MTEs. We were like, let's make a fucking group of retards that use Vans for combat shoes.
New personality just dropped.
They're you know what? They're oddly effective. They're really comfortable. But it was like it was me, Corey, Jen, Miguel, Sam, Miguel's guys, this guy Ali that came along with Jen, Cass, kind of the normal murderers row of morons that we run around with. It was a fun event. I mean, Copperhead's always usually a good time. It was a huge event. There was 860 something people there, so it's the biggest event I've ever been to.
Damn, that's old school broken home numbers.
And it felt like it because
would you say it was too many people for the area?
No, because that area was fucking enormous. Like really, you could still walk a good, because like I forget how big Copperhead is until I'm there, and I'm like, oh, I can walk a good 5 minutes with 800 people here and still not see anything.
Well, which is still good too, because you still don't have to walk far for an engagement either. It's kind of like
I love events that have enough room for a good sneaky flank.
Yes,
that isn't just a meat grinder. Like because I take more enjoyment out of saying we're going to take 30 minutes and we're going to go beat Bush and pop up behind them and die.
Yes, exactly.
So the problem is there's almost no way to do that at Copperhead, just by nature of the AO.
Not if you go out in the desert and get bit by a few snakes.
So there was that. Now this was the thing is, and that honestly, that's the biggest pain in the fucking ass about Copperhead is you'll be performing a flank and you look 200 yards to your left and there's somebody farther out there and you can see each other. You just can't do anything about it. So it's just like you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get these motherfuckers. And then you just like lock eyes and then they start moving faster than you and you're like, God damn it. And you're like going in tandem. Like I fucking hate it.
In the same house. You're like, wait.
Yeah, dude, it's so fucking annoying.
Did anyone have a ladder this year?
I did. I brought I left it in Corey's truck after we
I love the ladder stuff at Copperhead because people, especially when they're on a corner, they'll pay very close attention to that corner in front of them, but rarely do they look up.
What I like to do is it was really funny because people don't realize how much work is in being the ladder crew because you're constantly, or at least the way that I play, like I'm constantly moving. So it was like ladder up, ladder down, ladder up, ladder down, ladder up, like here, here. Whatever house we were currently stacked on, that's the one I wanted to be at, like going up over the top. But yeah, what I love to do is I'd throw the ladder, especially inside the walls of the market. I'd throw the ladder up like on a section of the wall that you shouldn't be able to peek over, and then I'd peek over the top of it and fucking tag people and I'd go back down. But I mean, it was a good time as always. I end up kind of staying in the bushier areas for the most part. I don't really like going into the houses just because.
What rifle are you running?
I tried to use my sniper, the HPA bolt action I got from Zero, which is in all other instances the most ridiculous fucking thing in the world, but it was blowing like 15 miles an hour. Like windy, like fucking windy. So my 4.8s are going like and just like yeeting off. So I switched to the Fatco BCM build that I've got for the end of day one and the rest of day two and just running people down. Rig wise though, I've got the new Alpha 34 from Spirit of Systems and I cannot recommend that thing highly enough. I built mine out specifically for sniping and airsoft. So like I've got one of their, because the best thing Spirit of Systems makes is their pouches, in my opinion. And so for them to create a harness, a low ride harness like they did that is fully customizable with their shit is dope. So mine's got like, I had the small GP pouch here and you open it up and I've got a bunch of pistol mag inserts, nylons, and you just shove the VSR-10 mags in those and you close it. And then I've got the JTSA here and then I've got a MC Kydex radio here. And then I've got the Nalgene here, which I ended up swapping the Nalgene out just because it gets in the fucking way too much. Like it's a cool concept, but like
it's big.
It's fucking huge.
And it's a two-handed affair putting it back in.
Yes, that was getting it out too, because you're like, which is my only real complaint about the chest rig is it's very cool that if you unzip it, it's got on the inside, it's got nylon for 2 M4 and 1 pistol or 1 large 9mm, whatever you want to call it. But pulling those out and re-indexing them is fucking impossible because you got to do this.
Yeah, especially if you're laying on the ground too.
And that's honestly easier because you reach over and you got to fucking double hand it. But like if you're in the middle and you're trying to use it and like it's very clearly not made for like
running and gunning.
Yeah, running and gunning. It's very much a recon rig. It could obviously be decked out for running and gunning because there's some other cool shit. Like I guess they're making new attachments for like the bottoms open up with Velcro and you can put like the dangler there and cinch it. Or I think they're making something else that's going to go in that section. But I really, really, really like that chest rig.
I dig split front rigs. I ran one at the event. Like, it's hot, you're tired, you just split the front open, undo your top.
Yeah,
easy.
Well, and the ability for
or
me
if
to
you're
just
laying down,
the ability for me to just hit the fucking deck and it would just part like perfectly, and I was like, boop, and I'm just in the dirt, and it was not a problem. I could crawl on my belly, not have any issues. So I really like, because I ran a ghillie top, a Viper hood, for a good chunk of the first day, and it doesn't get all tangled in your shit because of the way how it sits down a little bit lower. You don't feel in nearly as much as the weight. You do have to absolutely cinch that thing. Like that chest rig is made for the fattest human beings on the planet. I don't know I don't know who Spiritus is making this shit for. I'm assuming they're making it to like go over winter coats and cold weather and go over armor and stuff, which makes sense. Because I have to have it cinched all the way down, and I've got gigantic fucking shoulders. So like I was getting really annoyed with how much I had to like kind of cinch it up. But I love that thing. It's really cool.
That's right. I definitely want to get my hands on one.
They're expensive.
Because mine was similar. I have the Tier Coma, which is a very similar concept. It was just bigger. But I'd be curious to try that one. And I like the internal pouches.
The internal pouches is very cool. Because the other one, the one I was about to pull the trigger on was the Tracer Tactical one. Their Recce one, or whatever it's called, Recce Light. But I saw the just absolute ridiculous modularity that came with the A34, and again the fact that I'm a slut for the Spiritus pouches.
The A34 is only like $90 or something, was it?
It's like 120, but it doesn't come with straps, straps. I think
you got to shop all that around.
Yeah, they get you. They don't get you. But it's a great chest rig. I love it. And then my new thing for any amount of bushy activity is gaiters. Snake gaiters all day, every day. I wear them fucking things. Every uniform, I don't give a shit. They're just so useful. Yeah.
I forgot my gaiters for this game. I'm like, nah, I don't need them. It's hot. It's not going to be muddy. I don't need it. And a few times we had to move through these fields that had, I don't know what plant it was, but just like instantly socks and shoes filled with seeds.
Yeah. That's
so the moment we were done, we're like ripping shoes off and picking shit out of socks.
The little briar spears or whatever the fuck. Yeah, that shit is the worst. But yeah, it was fun. Like I said, I had a good time. I wish it had not been so windy that I couldn't use my sniper rifle, because that is a phenomenal sniping AO. But 1860, is it 1861? Is that the one in Colorado? That one I will absolutely be sniping if I'm.
Oh, you'll be here?
High probability. Ooh. I'll take that Friday off and I'll drive up. But I got to see.
That's making me maybe want to go more. Are you going to camp on site, or?
I mean, probably. I mean, if Corey goes, we'll have the camper.
Oh, yeah, true.
But if I go, I'm definitely going to be green team, because there's no tan up there whatsoever. So I'll.
All right. Damn, I might go.
Be a bush in that motherfucker.
I could maybe.
When you message Bo,
is Corey going to bring his razor?
Yes.
2.
If he comes, he's bringing the razor. Yeah.
Okay, so we could double team it.
Yes.
We got a strike crew.
We got to fight them to let us use the camo we used, the DPM or whatever we used last time.
Oh yeah. Well, pro gamer move. Just show up in it.
Dude, no, he always catches me. Bo, every single fucking event. I'll be walking around and be like, you can't wear that. I'm like, what? What are you, bro? You can't wear that, bro. That's not. I'm like, it's the same fucking color. It's just a little faded. No, bro. You go buy a brand new top. God damn it, dude. I can't get away with shit. Because I know we've got a few things in the pipe. I've got to do my audition tape for Stalker and send that through, and that will heavily dictate how much free time I have for the rest of the year.
Is that supposed to happen in October too?
December, dude. The 1st through the 17th.
When?
The 1st through the 17th. It's 17 days. Yeah, and on Christmas month too. That's like, it's going to be. Yeah, it's a pit. Luckily for me, work-wise, we're super fucking slow in December, so I'm just going to take an unpaid sabbatical, essentially. I already talked to work about it. They're like, yeah, cool. We just don't have to pay you for 2 weeks. Fucking dope. December sucks anyways. Nobody brings in any business. So that'll dictate it. I've also supposedly I'm going to be flying at some point this year, flying to Utah for the Ten of Swords release. which I think is on track to drop before the end of the year.
That one's been in the pipe for a while.
Not as long as Siege has.
Where's Corey? I wish to berate him about that.
Oh my god, you trust me, he's heard it. Every time I see him, I'm like, what do we have to do to bully this sound kid into finishing? Like, we need, because I know we need to get Wayne on. Wayne really wants to talk about it a bit. He's got some updates. Apparently, it looks phenomenal. They're just trying to make sure that the sound matches, and unfortunately, someone is not taking that very seriously.
Call them out.
So
post their name and address right now.
I have. Trust me,
Personal information.
I just want, like I said, I just want to see it done, because a lot of people spend a lot of time and a lot of effort, and there's a fucking shit ton of money involved. Like, I think Corey was out like 10 grand.
Well, and it's approaching. It's over a year now, isn't it?
I don't know.
No, he's dead.
No, he's not dead. He's just.
Is he doing a big thing?
Still, yeah, he's thinking hard. Ian says, "Give me their phone number."
No, I'm not sticking Ian on anybody. Good Christ! All right, but yeah, I mean that's essentially. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's about it, man. I don't have anything new or interesting or fun. Airsoft's a fun time right now. I'm enjoying it again, which is always good.
It's good. I think most people that have this dumb hobby of ours go through phases of, man, this is fun, to God, I hate this. Why do I do this?
Mm-hmm. I haven't played since we all met up in Colorado last time, and Ryan still lived here. Yeah.
Well, it'd be cool to see you guys too, because I feel like outside of on here, Skull gonna make it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to any milsim West in the year. I want to.
Yeah, what are the upcoming events, Derrick? Like, do you have anything planned in the pipeline for
next week? Is Volograd, which I think is in Tennessee. That one's gonna be tough. It's on a mountainside in rural Tennessee. It's gonna be very wet and very rocky.
But they say mountains. Do you remember where you live?
I know. Appalachian Mountains, so large hills with lots of rain.
Yeah.
But the next one we're definitely going to is, I can't remember the name of it. It's some weird name. It's an insurgency game at GTI in October. That one's going to be rad. Like, it's going to be very stalkerish. Because it's an insurgency game, there's going to be the civilian population, but it's at GTI, which is a nuclear reactor facility. So there's going to be, last time I talked to Josh, he said they're going to implement some game mechanics to actually encourage people to wear some kind of protective equipment in certain areas inside the reactor. And there'll be like black lights and stuff like that to check radiation. That sounds like a good time. That's the next one we're going to. That hopefully I'll have the PKM done by then, and we'll take that, and that'll be hilarious.
Yeah, that'll be very, very, very fun.
That reminds me, I need to come by the shop. Yeah, I gotta meet up.
Agreed.
Let's see. Sorry, I just had a random work thing come through. There we go.
Tell them you're too busy being famous on the internet,
dude. I know. I try that all the time, and it never works.
Yeah, see, Ian, I'm not pronouncing that word. What is that? You just smashed the keyboard.
The what?
The Zapor.
Dude, I love how the pronunciation of milsim West games get more and more insane as time goes on.
Until eventually the whole website's just going to be in Cyrillic.
Yeah, well, just exactly. I'm really trying to think what else is coming up. I was like, we talked a little bit about AMS games coming up, but I was saying, it sounds like, I don't know if Cole's necessarily interested in any other AMS stuff besides 1861.
I saw Black Sight's coming back for like the first time in forever.
Yeah.
Black Sight's coming back. Reindeer Games apparently is not canceled. They're doing...
Was it canceled last year?
So they said last year that it was going to be the last one.
Pro gamer move.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because like I thought maybe they were just meant like it was gonna be the last time at
Fort Hood.
Fort Hood, but that doesn't make sense because everyone does shit at Fort Hood. It's kind of like D-Day or kind of like D-Day used to be. But yeah, it's at Fort Hood. It's tickets going live here pretty soon. Actually, they just announced it. And then obviously, like I said, I don't think I'll make it to Black Site. I don't think I'm really gonna do because, like I said, I've got potentially something in December that's going to take up essentially all the rest of my free time for the year. And I've got, small toddler, so not a whole lot I can do.
I forget your child is toddler now.
It's terrifying.
It must be wild.
He gets into everything. He tries to tear everything apart. He loves throwing shit. I made the mistake of letting him watch Justice League the animated series because I got tired of watching Coco on repeat. And I should have keyed in that this was going to be a problem when Batman came on screen and whooped somebody's ass, and he just like sat forward in his chair and sat up a little straighter. Because the whole next dude, my wife calls me and she's like, because Wyatt's like not even 2 yet, but she's like, Wyatt's going around the house kicking stuff and going hi-ya. What did you do? I'm like,
give him a high five for me.
So fucking proud of that boy right now. But no, it's it's a trip, man. He's a lot of fun, but I do have to take care of this work shenanigans, so I'm gonna cut this short.
I just stumbled down an interesting rabbit hole the other day on YouTube of old videos from D-Day Adventure Park from like the 90s, back when they were first starting the D-Day. Yeah, when it was paintball events and they were first starting, and at its height in like the early 2000s to late 90s, they're getting like 10,000 people there over the course of a week.
That's insane.
Running this D-Day event. That there's like, and then they'd bring music out, and they'd have like this concert area in one area, and then like these speedball stages, and then like the big, the big, what was it, Colville, and stuff like that, where they would just continually run these events for a week. Like it made our puny little airsoft games look like shit.
Yeah, I was like, it's literally like Grid Life of Paintball, which I was bummed I missed this weekend because I heard it was dope. But
what was
Grid Life? It's like a car music festival with drifting, road racing.
Nice. Was that at PPIR?
Yeah, I was at PPIR, and I was pretty bummed because like I get usually some of my best shots there for the year, and this is the second year in a row I haven't been able to go. Which reminds me, I really need to pick up one of your lenses. Like, actually, just suck it up and buy one for next year.
I need to buy a replacement for the one I smashed to pieces.
The one you dropped?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. You were there for that, right?
I was.
And it tipped over forward, and
you've had some dark moments with
some slow motion. Thankfully, the body lived. That's all that matters. It was a kit lens, $100, whatever.
This camera that you're looking at right now, I left it on the other night streaming, and I come back to it, and the focus in the lens is just stuck to like a certain depth. So then I go to shoot for a product stuff at work, and I was like, this is not good.
Like, did it like melt the?
I don't know. I reset the camera and it started working.
Oh, okay.
But I already done that, so I was like,
nice. I need to talk to you some more. After at the Patrol Challenge, we used my rig is normally for still photography.
Yeah.
We're like, fuck it, we'll do video as well. But there definitely need to be some improvements to the system. So I need to talk to you.
They need to.
We need a good microphone. I need a better lens because we were just stuck with just a 50mm.
Yeah, I got
you.
Yeah,
I feel like the Patrol Challenge is something they absolutely need to get like a media crew out there to actually like get Wayne or somebody out there to video the whole fucking.
There needs to be a surviving the cut doc crew out there.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
That'd be fun.
Josh would love that too.
Yeah,
just make it like really shitty. Yeah.
Oh yeah, crank up the pressure. I think this year, because it was the first one, they're testing the waters, and there wasn't that many people there. They were at times worried about too many people dropping. So Max and some of the others like, okay, we gotta give them a little bit of a break. Like we don't want everyone to actually die, which I get. But I'm hoping like next year, if there's just a full event, like fuck it, we need a 30%, 30 to 40% drop rate is acceptable.
Yeah. Something, I don't know.
But boys, I got to skedaddle. It's always great seeing y'all.
Thanks, Derek, for coming on.
Absolutely.
Big
Yeah.
beautiful bastard. Hopefully,
Where's
I can see you
Corey?
in person soon. He says he had a small emergency he had to deal with, so I'm guessing
okay, that's
child-related stuff.
That's acceptable.
Life of an adult. But all right, boys, I'll catch y'all later.
All right, see
Later.
ya.